Hey guys, 4+ here with HTTL, and today we're going to be talking about how to deal with a lane bully when you are losing your lane. But first, what is a lane bully and who is a lane bully? A lane bully is someone who will try to dominate the lane by putting pressure onto you. This pressure comes from many things such as soft CC, poke abilities, zone control and minion pushing. If a bully has forced you out of lane, took an early tower, or denied you a lot of creep score, they have done their job. If you start to lose your lane to the bully, in an example you've been killed once or twice and it's still very early in the game, you need to know how best to minimise the pressure that will now be put onto you. We'll tackle the previous mentioned pressure causing traits of a lane bully individually, and throughout I'm going to use Rumble as an example. So let's talk about the poke abilities. First up, Rumble has Flame Spitter. This ability is great for poking at the enemy champion as you can keep enough distance to not be in range for return trades. This ability also goes through minions, meaning that it offers Rumble a lot of zone control. This can make CSing hell, especially if he lands his other poking ability, Electro Harpoon, as the skill shot comes with a soft CC that upon hitting you allows Rumble to easily walk up to you with his Flame Spitter and deal quite a bit of damage. If you return trade Rumble, he can soak from harass with his scrap shield, then back off until his cooldowns are ready to go again. Since you are losing your lane, you will find that you simply cannot deal with taking this harass. It wouldn't be too surprising if you are forced to return to base after this has happened once or twice. This means Rumble has shut you down. There are two things that you can do to take away his ability to force you out of lane. One is itemization. You're going to need a lot of sustain, and how you obtain this will depend upon your champion. Some champions can just get lifesteal or spell vamp or health generating items, however some champions simply cannot itemize this way, and in this case you're just going to have to stockpile some health potions. Around 4 should be enough to stay in lane for quite a while. Every time you leave lane you lose out on experience, creep score and lane presence, so investing a bit of gold into health potions is worth it in the long run. The second thing that I recommend you do is simply just not go near them. It may sound weird, and yes you're going to lose out on a bit of creep score, but it's better to lose a few minions than be forced out of lane. Bully champions typically push also, so being patient should pay off as you should optimally want to be farming near your tower. This moves us on to zoning. Lane bullies will want to control the lane phase often, using abilities that force you to move. Rumble's Flame Spitter gives him control of a cone in front of him. Yorick schools are another good example. This zoning usually makes it so that either you choose to take damage or you lose CS. Again, it might not seem right, but often losing out on some creep score is better than taking the free harass. One tip I have for reducing the enemy's zoning potential is to abuse your tower. Allow him to push and then hug your tower. The most optimal placing of enemy minions is just outside your tower range, so that your lane is frozen closer for longer. I hopped into a custom game with a crit just to show you one of the ways to control the minions if you're on the blue side. Doing this will mean that the minions are aggro to you though, so you will take damage, so this is best used with the technique of itemizing with full sustain. Essentially, you are stood on the edge of your tower range, so if Rumble was to attempt to harass you, you can just walk under your tower to be safe and use it to zone him. Lane bullies don't ever want to tower dive unless they're going to kill you, as this will mean they'll take too much damage and then they'll fail their lane presence. Finally, don't get demoralised by this. It sucks being pushed out of lane a few times before the 10-minute mark, but if you play safe and treat it as a farm lane, you should come out okay by mid-game. I personally hate fighting against champions who work in this manner, specifically Rumble, as in some games it feels like after your first death from that level 2 gank, the game's over. I'll leave you guys with a sneak peek of my Counter Malphite video coming up in a week or two for Champion Select, and I wish you luck in these lame lane phases.